Alright, here we are. I believe I am live now on Twitch. Uh, so here we go. I'm Princess Fuzzy. I'm not bothering to use the live avatar right now because it's an extra step that I don't really feel like putting the energy into at the moment after a long day at work. What I'm going to be doing here today is I'm going to paint a bit of a Bob Ross style landscape, and I'm going to be focusing on uh, techniques for making trees because I've done quite a few Bob Rosses now, and some of the ways of making trees that he does work really well in Vermillion. Other ones I struggle with a bit. I've kind of, come up with my own ways of getting results that I like a lot of the time. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a demo, show what I've figured out, things that work for me, things that don't work so well for me, and if anyone else has experience in Vermilion painting trees, they could give me some feedback on other ways of doing things that might work better than the way that I do them. And also, people who are new to Vermilion may get some benefit from seeing my techniques on making trees and then become better at making their own trees. So, to begin with, white canvas, blank canvas. We shrink it right down, paint it all white. Try and get that nice and even. Not that it really matters that much since we'll be going over it with other colours anyway, but get some of those sort of big ridges of brush marks and stuff annoy me. Just try and scrub them out a bit. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, so basic wet white canvas. Now we'll just grab some blue and let's just really get in there and get some blue going for the sky. Alright, I got basic blue. Let's do some of the old crisscrosses that Bob loves so much for blending sky. Just kind of swirl that up a bit, smooth it out somewhat. So all this blending that I'm doing here is just with the clean, dry 2-inch brush. Just kind of pushing it around a bit. Trying to keep it from looking too brush strokey. That'll do. For better blending, I generally prefer the smooth fan brush. You just really get in there and just kind of scrub away some of the boundaries between different colours and stuff. And usually for a Bob Ross episode, there'd be clouds or different colours in the sky or whatever, but since my focus here is on trees, I figure just a basic blue gradient kind of sky should do the job well enough. Now, next step, as Bob always loves to do, let's go a mountain. I'll get some browns, mix them up. Black to make it a bit darker. colour, a bit of white to desaturate it. Pull some more of that black back into it. There we go. Nice darkish brown colour. Let's just slap in some mountain here. Just whack it in. Let's just get mountains all the way along here. Yep, there we go. Just take some more of that darkish colour to top it up. As we pulled in a lot of lighter colour as we went down into the white underneath. So let's just crag them up a bit. We don't want them too uniform shaped. Sort of big wide one over here. Maybe a bit of a plateau thing there. Just scrub some more of that colour around. Just want it to be kind of generally dark. There we go. Basic mountain shapes. Bob likes to do a bit of this pull through, grabbing the colour with the big brush and pulling it down. This works well to give you kind of the right direction. So brush strokes kind of work to add shape and form to your mountains here. So just pull down through all of that. Pulling out the bottom here to kind of fade it out. You can also come back, lifting up, give us a bit of, oh, that's a bit too much, pull that back down. Sort of just pulls a bit of colour up there to give it some texture and shape. Just a bit too much texture and shape on that bit. Let's just fan that down a bit. There we go. Alright, and then the old snow stuff, so let's just take some of this colour, add a bunch of white to it. There we go. And so, where's the light coming from? Light from the right is usually the way we go, so let's just holding that at a bit of an angle. We can just brush in some snowy kind of highlight stuff on there. And grab another bit. Same here. Let's go again. Just laying it in there. Some there. A bit for that one. Yep. Maybe we'll just make another peak that doesn't reach into the sky. It just sort of starts there, comes through like that. Alright, and then for the dark side, let's take some of this dark colour, blue it out a bit. There we go, maybe like that. And again, holding this at an angle to the canvas to get the nice breaking paint effect. We'll just smother some of that in there for the shadows. probably bluer than we'd like. But we don't want it too dark either. We'll see how that goes. And that. Let's get a bit more texture in there. That looks alright. A bit more through there. A little bit on there. A bunch down through there. Let's get a bit off the sides of that too. Just brightening that up a bit. It was a little bit too dark maybe. There we go. Some mountain shapes, and then Bob really likes to blend the bottom of those in to make mist. He does it with the big 2-inch. 2-inch doesn't work so great for it in this. I prefer, again, my smooth fan brush. So you just kind of scribble this around, just scrub it. Scrub it through all that to kind of erase some of that detail, make it look a bit misty. Kind of pulls all those colours together. It's a bit of a fog. There we go. Kind of misty base to the mountains. Then we're going to want some foothills, I guess. Yeah, throw away all those colours. Foothills, we want like a greenish. Take some green. Throw in some of this dark blue. Yeah, throw in a little bit of the brown. And we're getting real dark. And it's kind of distant though, so it doesn't need to be that dark. Let's lighten that out a bit. Atmospheric perspective, we don't want it to be too saturated back there. Alright, that'll do. Let's go to the bristle fan brush. Just pick up some of this and throw in foothills. Just gonna start here, just tapping with the flat of the fan brush there. Just slapping it across all that. Let's get some more and come in from this side, same thing. Slapping with the flat. And the bristle patterns are just giving a little bit of illusion of detail along the tops of the ridges of those hills. So I'm picking up quite a bit of lightness from the white that's further down on the canvas here as I do this. Just kind of leaving this kind of pale and foggy as well. You can see my mixing sensitivity is still there. It's not all the way down at 0. It's not as high as default, but default feels like a lot to me, so I never really stay out there. Alright, another layer of these. Let's get a bit more vibrant. Second set of hills coming down through here. Something like that. There's another bit coming in from over there. Cross them over. kind of a rolling landscape happening there. Let's add a bit of yellow into this to give some light. Again, light's coming from the right, so we want to be sort of on the top and right hand sides of these as we do a little bit of highlighting there to give it some shape. There we go, it's got some basic grass. Now, in the middle of the mist back there, if we use the bristle fan brush, we just paint up with the empty brush. I can give the illusion of some very distant trees there. So we can use the whole brush, or we can turn it sideways and make individual strokes up. Just create the look of some distant trees in there against the fog. Very slim on detail, just basic shapes, vertical shapes coming up off the top of those ridges. Just push a little, just sticking the brush in and then pushing up. There we go. A little bit more of this green yellow colour. Some more yellow in there. Just take some of that. Let's just tap a little bit more of that in on here. I should probably be using the smooth fan brush for that. Give a bit of a softer effect. There we go. Yeah, so we come down towards the front here. I guess we can just kind of fill that in with some more greenery. Just take the big one. Pull some of this cover. Just scrubs out so quickly as I go through there, doesn't it? Often you'd have like lakes and stuff going on here, but yeah, so to make things easier, I'll just set that down to 0 mixing so I can throw this green in without getting diluted all the time. So I just still kind of mixes with what I've got there and it dilutes a bit, but just smear it around, gives a basic greenery in the foreground. Rolling green hills. There we go. Come in with the smooth fan brush and just stroke it through a bit more. Get some texture and depth. Rough it all up a bit, give it again some random stroke pattern detail stuff. Some pats like that in. Smooth and turn that all together. There we go. That looks like kind of a grassy meadow at the front here. We'll get some more yellow in here. Get some more yeah, it's kind of some hills and stuff. Now when it comes to serious trees, so the evergreens are a big favourite with Bob, and the way that he does them, he makes a nice dark evergreen colour. So let's get some of this darkish colour here, and a touch of red to it to really darken it down. There we go. Very dark pine kind of colour. So watching Bob with his fan brushes in real life, he tends to use it vertically first to draw a vertical stripe. So let's go and put one in here. So he goes for a stripe, which I have trouble getting a clean stripe when I do this. It kind of messes out a bit, but something like that. And then he just goes, he uses the corner of the brush, he lays in boughs essentially, one side and the other. So I'm just going to load this up with paint again. So generally, he just kind of goes splotch, splotch, and they come into nice boughs for him. For me, not so much. If I kind of push it in and give it a bit of a wiggle, I get something, but they're not as precise and neat as what Bob generates. So this is one of the techniques I have some trouble with. So I kind of just chuck in a tree shape with that and hope for the best. Now, another option we could investigate is making the canvas much larger so we can get better detail out of this brush. Let's try that for a second tree. A friend for that first tree, so throw in the vertical at the top, reload the brush, and then so this rapid tapping motion I'm doing here to try and get a bit more form. I kind of need to make this taller because I made those branches too wide. Let's get some more in here. So I have kind of trouble getting good shape out of these. So I sort of actually paint them in instead of just tapping. I can sort of get shapes and angles that I want, so maybe that's the way to go. Sort of tapping and pushing across. Still having trouble getting the nice, neat top of this tree. It's just little ones like that. Maybe. That kind of works. So that's one way to do it, I guess. And while we're here, I'll see if I were to just take maybe this thin little, there's short and shorter. Never knew that. Okay, so this tiniest little short flat. Let's try and make one more tree. What if I carefully try and draw it? So this gives me the nice, that's thin enough. And then if I were to just well, that kind of works, but it's somewhat labor intensive. If we go to the slightly bigger version. Those are coming out very square on the edges, so probably not ideal. Although maybe. What if I go back to this one? Just throw in some more splattery sort of ones. little curvies. Just paint some edges on that. I think, yeah, actual strokes rather than just attacks seem to be the way to go with these. There we go. Let's shrink it back to a regular size. Now, we'll get some dark brown in there to give the impression of trunks. Just using our thinner liner brush. Just going to choke up on the top of it and just lay in some brown down through there to give the impression of the trunk of the tree. And stick it out the bottom a bit so it can reach the ground. And some for this one too. I probably need some of this lighter brown so we can actually see it. Just slap some of that in there. Oh, losing tracking for a second there. A bit of a happy accident, I guess. There we go. So we've got trunks on there. And then we're going to want to highlight those. So let's just add some yellow into this, lighten that up. And then, so this was my just plain splat one. Light's coming from the right, so we want to highlight the right. Some more yellow into that. Really get in there. It's just pushing in. Ugh. That kind of works. The other one, making big and then using more sort of stroking motion. Yeah, that kind of works. Let's get a bit brighter yellow. It's really make some of that stand out. And that one, let's give it a go with this. Just cover up some of that trunk so it doesn't look like the tree is all naked. And get some more yellow to really sparkle that up. Alright, well, a few different options for those kind of trees. And then down at the bottom of them, let's go back to this one. Let's just come in and put some grassy kind of details to get some shadow and grass kind of effect under it. Let's just scruff that up a bit. That looks alright. So that's those. Now, another kind of tree that Bob likes is the big, floofy kind of thing. And for that, I've found this filbert tends to work pretty well. So let's get some of this dark greeny colour all over the filbert, and then just gonna start up here and splat in some of this. I probably, I mean, for putting trees in, having zero blending tends to work pretty well. Otherwise you end up with a lot of sky color fading into it. This is a big tree, it's right up into the foreground here. Can we get a bit more dark in there? Just blacken that out a bit more. Get some darkness into this, especially in the core of it. There we go. So there's that. And then once again, I want to give it some highlight. Let's maybe make it a bit yellower, shall we, for the, not yellower, but more of this golden colour rather than the plain old green. There we go. So let's come and slap some of this in. Light's still coming from the right, so I want that to be mostly over the top of those edges of that as it comes through there. And a little bit out onto the limbs of it out there. And throw some real yellow in there. Brighten that up a bit. Some bit of sunshine showing on some of those leaves and stuff there. Just slapping it all on like that. There we go. And another thing Bob likes for those foreground sections is the big old bushes. Sometimes the oval goes well for bushes and stuff. Let's give that a try. This can give some really fine speckle patterns. So if we just slap it like this, what do we get? Like that. And if we stick it in forward, yeah, this is how we get the kind of fine detailed bushes and stuff in front of that. We'll get some more yellowy kind of colour to give some volume to these bushy things. A bit of this. Let's get a little bit of red into some of this stuff. Just some different bits of colour. Some of those bushes. Yeah, there we go. Maybe some pure orange to just brighten up the tops of those. Just very gentle touches there. And let's go some yellow for some of the other ones. This could almost be like flower heads or something on the top of these bushes. Or just bright bits. Yeah, that's some nice bushy stuff. I'm not satisfied with this bit. Let's go into a dark brush. Let's just scrub a bit, get some more texture into that. better. Now, what else? So I've got my filbert brush tree, I've got my various evergreens. We could put in, let's put in a big branch coming across 1 inch. Alright, light's coming from the right. Let's try and do that thing that Bob does, where we load up 2 colours on this at once. So we'll get some browny brown. Let's get a bit darker. Throw a little bit of black in there to really darken it down. Okay, so that's our dark colour, and then let's take this as the light colour. If I just wipe my brush straight through the middle of that, I got light and dark. So now, if I just turn this around, like that, so that's where the light is, so that's where the light side of this is. If I just kind of pull a branch in from the side there. Ugh, I don't like this brush, it's not giving me much. Yeah, it's not laying paint on the way I want it to. Let's not use that brush. Let's try this colour. Let's get that for the half and half. And dark, and then yeah, that's kind of a dark and light thing going on there. Now with that, let's oh, that's not really working. The whole dark and light thing isn't laying on very well. Let's go back to the usual amount of blending. Let's come in with the dark and just lay in some branch here. Let's go to this one. Ugh, it just doesn't get on there. Oh, no, the very thin one. Let's just take some of this dark colour and start laying in some thinner branches. Come out through there. Oh, it all just gets thin real quick. Oh well, so be it. I can always thicken it up with multiple layers. Oh, that was some nice zigzag from the loss of tracking. So the way that it picks up the light colour of the sky kind of works for me. That it allows highlights to generate naturally as I go. Anyway, there's some branches of a tree leaning over into the scene. This is what I feel like kind of an Australian sort of tree. It's the kind of trees that I see around home. These big, long, smooth branches. It's gum trees and stuff. Let's pull some more of this light colour over into that. Give some more texture on there. Another thing we can do for texture on there is we can use the palette knife. We can kind of lay in some bark texture, same as we do for mountains. Just scrabble some of that onto there. And let's pick up some of this lighter colour. And let's just put a little bit of that in there. On the top there. Kind of through there. There we go. The texture for the bark. And then now, so for the leaves of this, I think the big bristly fan brush does a pretty good job for this. So let's get some dark greenish colour. Let's just sort of slap on some canopy, some arcs of leaves here like this. Just snap them in at the ends of those branchy bits. Again, this is mixing very quickly with the sky, so I think I'll take my mixing sensitivity all the way down so I can lay these in solidly. So there's those kinds. Oh, we can use the filbert as well. Let's put in some filbert ones over here and see how they look. Yeah, they're kind of a more natural long leaves like what you get on gum trees. So I think I'll go for some more of that for this. Less bristly and more blobby kind of leaves. We've got our dark colour on there for that. Let's get a bit more up in here. So we'll just slap that in. Lots of foliage up there in the corner. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. Alright, and then we want to go for a lighter kind of greeny colour to highlight. Maybe some more yellow in there. There we go, that looks kind of nice, doesn't it? I reckon that's pretty good. Another thing that we often see from, well, not always, is a bit of a path. So let's take some whiting to this. Oh, too much. It's a nice kind of colour. Let's just lay a bit of a path in through here. Just and up into the distance there. Left and right strokes. Get a bit of a road thing happening. Could use some darker on that. Leave that all dark as we go here. And we can come back with some of this lighter colour and just feather it across. Getting that texturing angle of the knife here. There we go. Nice bit of a road kind of thing happening there. And we're going to need to go and hide the edges of that. So let's get some of the old darkish green black kind of stuff and throw some bushes in around the edges. Nice big ones up here. Small bits up through there. So it goes into the distance there. Let's just change to the smooth fan brush and just kind of scrub to fade. Again, this is my blending tool. Smooth fan brush, no paint on it. Just kind of scrub it in and things disappear into the distance, into the fog. Yeah, there we go. We're going to need to get some more. Actually, we want to put some whiter, not white, but whitish. Let's put a bit more of that. Let's just touch some of that in there. Just put a bit of added lighting and shape in there. There we go. That looks alright. Now, as we were, bristle fan brush. I need some brighter greens. Need some yellower green. Some real highlights on that. Some of that serious yellow. There we go. It's a nice little walkway through there. Goes to nowhere. That's fine though. Maybe that'll do. What do I reckon? This feels empty. I feel like there should be something in there. Maybe we should try and build a rock in there. Let's get some of this kind of colour. Yeah, that's a good colour. Let's go and try and just stick a rock. Go a rock in there. Just sitting there. Big old boulder kind of thing. Kind of sitting next to the path. We're going to need some darker colour around that edge of it underneath. Just in general. Kind of don't know what I'm doing here. Rocks are a bit of a mystery to me, but hey, we'll see how we go. Oh, it could be like a copse of bushes. Actually, that looks a bit more like bushes than rocks, so let's get in there with the bristle fan brush again. Yeah. Let's take some more of this light colour and just That looks good. Let's get some more of this and just, as Bob likes to do, just put in little bits of twigs and stuff. It's probably too many, but never mind. We'll come back in with this dark color again and just throw some shade on the top of those. Some of this lighter color back on top. And even lighter. There we go. I don't know what that is. It's something. Some kind of a bush or a rock. Yeah, maybe we'll just scrub out all that work I did to turn it back into a rock. There we go. We've got some dark colour. Work up into the bottom of it there. Then we get some of the lighter colour. Just set some of that up on top of it there. A bit more dark colour in down the bottom here. There we go, some kind of rock thing. And we're going to need some of these dark greens up around it once again. And some lighter green stuff coming around there. Yeah, let's just pull some of that up. Make some bit more long grass stem stuff going on there. Yeah, that looks alright. Let's get a little bit of white. Just gently tap in a bit of highlight along the top of that. Just for interest's sake, give it a bit more shape. There we go. That looks alright. The road runs down past a big rocky thing. Yeah. Alright. I think we might need a little bit more dark bushy stuff in this corner here. Just some even closest bits there. Let's just pull some more lines up out of that. Since it's so close, it needs to have some good bits of detail sticking up. Just pull some grassy stem things up out of there. And then we can get some of the lighter colour. Did I really get lighter colour there? Just lay some more of that there on top of it. Yeah, there we go. That's some interest in that area. Yeah, that'll do, I reckon. So, final step, I make it big. I change layer to number 2. And then assign it with the little brush. Oh, bit of a tracking glitch there. There we go. Put that away. Put it back down. Alright, there we go. That is the demonstration completed. Select layer 1. We'll manually save the painting. And then I like to export 4K size and do a studio photo and a gallery. Alright, there you go. Time to end the stream. Hopefully this is useful to someone, or at least entertaining. This has been Princess Fuzzy painting in Vermillion, and that's the end.